Hey folks, the character trait for the month of March has been orderliness. When we read the scriptures, we can see different characteristics of God. And of course, we see from the creative order that God does everything by purpose, plan, and design. He even has his own timetable that he's adhering to because he has a purpose in all that he does. This is a good reminder for us in the homeschooling community to try to order our lives according to his purposes as well. Now, as we end this month of March and talking about orderliness, I'm going to end in kind of an ironic way. Orderliness is a good long-term goal in our Christian walk and our homeschooling lives. But I would suggest to you, God oftentimes uses short-term seasons of disorderliness as a part of his economy, his work in our lives as well. Now, when we have seasons that are disorderly, it could be a difficult pregnancy, maybe some significant sickness, perhaps a job change of some kind, and just kind of our home is turned into topsy-turvy. I want to first of all remind you that every season is ordained of God. Now, God uses our choices, both our good choices, our bad choices, even our sinful choices, to work his will in our lives. He also uses the sinful choices of others that we sometimes are affected by. But these are all under the purview of God. So when God ordains a season of disorderliness in our life where our schedule can't seem to be kept, we have to understand to embrace that season. It's okay. It won't last forever, but God has a purpose and a plan in that. Similarly, because God has a purpose in seasons of disorderliness, we don't need to spend an overt amount of time regretting and complaining and thinking, what's going on? I'm a bad person. For example, a while back, 3 or 4 years ago, my wife and I were on a little bit of a diet, and we went away for a weekend. We just totally blew it. And when we came back on Monday, we were mad at ourselves, and so we blew off Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday. To make a long story short, we just got off of it completely. When we have things that happen in our lives that gets us out of an orderly routine, those things happen and that's okay. But the key is just to get back on board and start going again. Now, it might mean starting out a little bit slower than what we would like to, but nevertheless, we just pick up where we left off. Regret and all the internal things that go on in our lives when we're frustrated, those things do nothing to change the situation. And I will admit I'm kind of a hypocrite at this because I'm not good whenever I feel like I've messed up. But nevertheless, we all will have short seasons of disorderliness. And so we must remember we just get back on board when that comes. Third and finally, I want to remind you that sometimes some of the greatest seasons of our lives can come out of seasons of disorderliness. Now again, that's not the goal, disorderliness, but nevertheless, that happens in this life that we're in, fallen, human, sinful lives. But I see last week we're reading the book of Acts in the morning, we're doing Psalms at night, but in the book of Acts, whenever Stephen was stoned, that brought just total chaos and disorderliness to the Jerusalem Christian community. And people were dispersed all across the region. And that seemed really bad, but what happened is it caused the word of God to be spread abroad. If you recall specifically, Philip was moved away, and then God ordered him to go up in a desert, and he came across the Ethiopian traveling his chariot. Well, that caused that young man to get saved. He was very important in the Queen of Ethiopia's government. And from history, we understand that a great revival ensued in Ethiopia as a result of that. So what started out as something bad or disorderly in the city of Jerusalem ended up being something very good to spread the word of God throughout the entire region. So one key part of remaining orderly in the long haul is to understand we will have short seasons of disorderliness, and it's all a part of God's will, plan, and purposes. So I hope that helps when those seasons come. Don't spend a lot of time regretting it and being frustrated. Embrace that season. When that season's over, pick right back up and go on again and see if God will make something great and orderly out of a season of disorderliness. This is Kirk Smith with ICHE's Take 5.